down and cried in class.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Out of everybody, like when it came time to share, I was like, yeah, boo. I was like, obviously, still need to work on something, searching for it.
That's weird, Jamie. I don't want to one-up you or anything, but I was scared to start crying. I told Dorit, the lady whose studio it is, I go, I'm just so afraid I'm going to cry. And she goes, go ahead and cry. And I go, I don't think this cry is going to be very pretty. Like, it may not stop. So, you know what I mean? I don't want to really scare the kids and stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, go ahead, cry. Oh, no, I took that to Griff's grave, that kind of cry. But I know what kind of cry you're talking about, too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a pretty crying, period, in front of people, being that vulnerable, or
Yeah.
it's just difficult.
Very, very. And sometimes trying to hold it, you can't hold it. The tears just come. You can't hold it.
Yeah.
It's like almost like throwing up.
Crying and throwing up are so close together.
So close.
As I was setting up and getting stuff together, I hear Griffen laughing. I was like, dude, what are you laughing at? What's so funny? And I'm wanting him to explain to me what's going on. He goes, you. And I was like, oh my God, you're really laughing at me? He goes, what's wrong with you? Because I was trying to bring my bag in and set the computer up, and
everything hurts.
Whoo, girl.
I know.
So he got a real kick out of it.
Right. And I'm a real asshole when I hurt like that. Like, you know, some people say, you know, that saying, no pain, no gain, all that, those cute little sayings. You know, I get mad, like if I get a trainer or whatever and I'm sore and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like not being able to sit on the toilet. I don't like not being able to get down the stairs. There's just nothing I like about it. I don't feel more progressed or progressive or like I'm going somewhere faster. So could we slow it down or dial it down for me? Like, 'cause I don't like that feeling. Like some people get off on that.
Oh yeah.
You ever been so sore from squats you can't sit on the toilet or walk downstairs?
It's horrible.
I know.
Horrible.
I know. They're like, oh,
I
it's
don't
just
like going that far.
right. They're like, oh, you'll get used to it, and it's just the lactic acid. And then with my personality, if you stop and start again, then you got to go through that again because they say it'll go away, it'll go away. And you're like, okay.
Griff is just laughing.
Right? The human body, and they're just flying around laying on clouds. Screw you, Griff.
He goes, I don't remember ever being sore like that. He goes, I just didn't get a chance to get stagnant or old.
No.
He goes, as kids, he goes, honestly, we don't really feel like that. We just are continuously revving up.
Right.
And he goes, I think the only time complaining comes in is when you hit your peak and you stop revving.
Right.
And you have those dips. He's doing his hands like this.
Yeah.
That's when the shit hits the fan.
Right. No, he never, that's right, Griff. You never had a break. I mean, since you could breathe practically, you played 3 sports.
Wow.
My kids, we kept the kids really busy. And it was funny at Griffin's service, some of the football players told stories, and the energy that he'd have. I'd have to get up at 5 a.m. sometimes to drive him for practice at Thousand Oaks High School, and he'd do ice in people's locker. Like he was the jokester. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Are you proud of yourself? He's still proud of himself.
Yeah, I was cracking up at the funeral. I was like, wow. I'm glad. I was so happy to hear those stories,
He's telling me in the ice bag how you have to close the locker and just shove the tip of the bag in when it gets full enough so that the ice stays in it.
Right.
And he says, that's mean. He goes, what I liked is whatever exposed papers were in there got wet.
Right.
It's not like he primmed and kept the book safe.
No, he didn't care. No, Griff's the kid that runs around naked doing jokes. He doesn't care. He does not care.
He didn't even get embarrassed with that at all.
No.
Like, what does that say about someone? He didn't even drop his head and be like, oh, you just, not all the time. No, he's like, yeah, sat up.
Jamie, he'd be outside playing basketball. We lived in a house where you'd come in the front door and you could see outside, and I'd look and answer the door. He'd be outside playing basketball naked. Like he didn't care. He'd had all the kids skinny dipping in the pool. He just did not care. And like to the point where I almost had to get like very stern with him, because in the United States, we're very uptight about nakedness and bodies and stuff like that. You'll start to get labeled as crazy. Europe, that wouldn't be a big deal. Like, I had a friend that's a European, a woman. She got in my pool, took off her top, and started talking to me at first. That kind of shocked me, and then you just get used to it. It's not a big thing for them at all. You know, in Brazil and those places, it's just not. Nakedness is not a big thing. But here, it's like you'll get 5150 and taken to a crazy mental hospital. I mean, I've got to work this out, Griff. I couldn't get him to wear underwear for years. We tried every brand. He's like, I don't like them. They go up my butt. They're uncomfortable. I was like, you've got to wear underwear. He'd throw them away at school.
That's what it stopped. He was just showing me that.
Yeah.
That he would put them on, especially the it's like a fitted boxer.
Under Armour. Yeah, they cost about $30 a pair, Jamie. We tried everything.
Taking them off and flinging them into a trash can is the image I just saw in my head.
Oh, it was a huge, huge thing in our house. Like a big deal. A big fight. Like we thought we were going to get called into the school. Like, Griff, you have to wear underwear, honey.
He says, not anymore.
No. I mean, you know, when you have boys, it's things you don't think of, but you're just like, oh my God.
And freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't want it. He wanted to be free.
That should be a huge topic.
Right.
He said something that we bring up, because so many people imprison themselves with just how they dress, and they're totally unaware of it.
Okay, then I'll bust your ass, Griff. When the first time you smoked weed, I shouldn't laugh, but it's legal here in California now, so F everybody what they think. But he took off his clothes, and he's so lucky that nobody taped it. But they were like at a local school, the park or whatever, a bunch of kids, and they smoked weed, and he said his clothes felt uncomfortable. So he took them off, and he started running around the school.
That's what you were showing me.
Yeah. And then we were sitting at Starbucks as parents, and he came to get donuts with these kids, and their eyes were barely open, and we're like, you stupid MFers. Like, we see you're high. Like, why would you come to Starbucks? We always sit outside at Starbucks, like almost asking to get busted. Please don't tell Dad. Please don't tell Dad. Meanwhile, my friend's kid's like at home wanting Captain Crunch, and she's texting me saying he's saying Scooby-Doo's talking to him out of the TV, and we're laughing. We're trying to be mad and be stern and be great parents, but we're laughing like, oh my God. And I'm like, I have to tell your dad. He cannot find out from anyone but me. You know what I'm saying? Why do you walk right with 20 donuts right beside us with your eyes barely open, your first time trying pot? You know what I'm saying?
He said, to my defense, I had no idea my eyes were half open.
I know, right? That's true.
He said, to me, I thought I looked totally normal.
Uh-huh.
He says, I was just so fucking happy. It's just, everything was right in the world at that moment. So if everything was right, why would you have anything wrong?
Why would we have a problem with you?
It didn't even register.
Right?
Oh my God, I cannot believe you ran around the school.
I have a friend that told me that she experiences the same thing when she smokes weed, that she wants to take off her clothes. Feels tied in, I guess. I don't know what happens. They just don't feel natural, I guess.
That was similar to what he just said. He said it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's like an extra skin.
Right.
That I don't need. And he says my instinct is just to take it off.
Right. We were laughing so hard because his friend Joy was like, he took off his clothes. He's just running around school.
Griffen.
I was like, don't you talk. You got Scooby-Doo talking to you out of the TV, so we all have something.
Griffen says, I think another droplet, so what you're saying, droplet
Right.
of wisdom
Mm.
is that everybody, no matter what your religious beliefs,
Mhm.
no matter where you are in life, how old you are, how young you are, he goes, I think you need to spend a 3-day weekend at a nudist camp. It's a nudist
Right.
camp.
Right. Right.
He said, yeah, get over it, people.
Right.
Nudity is not sexuality and it doesn't mean intimacy. It's just being nude.
Exactly. It is so true. If I don't know, Jimmy, if you've ever watched the show Naked and Afraid, but they have to go naked and survive for a certain amount of
That's
minutes together.
yeah, where they drop them off somewhere or
Yeah,
something?
exactly. And you get over the nudity real fast, you notice. It is not intimate at all. It's all about survival. And at first you're like, oh my God. Because I mean, even when Griffin says that, I'm like, holy crap, I need some surgery if we're gonna do that. No, I don't want to scare anybody.
He says,
And
but
Griff,
that's another thing. If you're at the nudist camps, he goes, you get to see other bodies and just recognize that, fuck, your body is your body. I don't care if it's shaped like a pear, an apple, a beach ball, a stick, whatever,
right.
curves, it's yours. He goes, we spend more mental energy and more stress, anxiety, hatred, separation, and punishment over the shape of our bodies than anything else. He goes, that is a huge mental disease.
You're absolutely right because I remember, I think it was your dad or some guys telling locker room stories about being at a gym, just like a local gym, and an old man like putting his toes up on the counter to trim his toenails and being naked and his balls have forgotten where they're supposed to be. And,
Oh, I
and
was
they
just
were,
grossed out about toenails on
yeah,
top of the
I was
counter.
too. I was too. And that's what they were grossed out about. But they were just laughing how he just didn't care. I mean, his balls had forgotten where they're supposed to be. His butt, is an empty tea bag. And, and it's like, he just does not care. He's trimming his fucking toenails on the counter.
Because that's the kind of connection
Yeah,
that he goes, think about it. If you had that kind of connection with your body,
right,
like that old man,
right,
he's throwing his hand towards the back, like that old man, how much time would it free up for you right now?
right,
How many less words would be in your head? How differently would you dress?
right,
How freer would you feel in your skin? How much more confidence would you elude in conversation? Because think about it, how many hours and days are dedicated to that shit. And it doesn't help you progress, doesn't help you get more in tune, doesn't help you connect. All of those thoughts are just shredding it, just fucking shredding it apart. And then you're in the back going, oh, but I don't want to feel like this. And I do want to love myself. And I do.
right,
He has a much better wimpy
right.
voice thing than I can do.
Right. And Griffin, you touch on something so real that was was apparent when you were alive, but is really getting grossly negligent now. Boob jobs were here when you were here. Now it's butt jobs.
Oh,
Um,
what?
now
I
it's
mean, I've heard of that, but
yeah,
that's common now?
on IG almost all the girls that are trainers, and I feel bad saying this, but I would say 89% are fake butts. Yeah. That are
No.
are telling you that they're physical trainers. They've had fat injected in their butt or collagen. I mean, not collagen, but whatever else they put, silicone or something. And then there's people that have stories. Actually, a girl in Atlanta that I followed her story, God bless her, she's been honest about it, that she felt like everyone was looking at the people with bigger butts. So she went and got one. She's a trainer. Now she had it removed and it went wrong. So she had necrotizing fasciitis, which Griffin had, uh, like gangrene. She could have lost her life.
Oh my God, it eats the muscle like it eat.
Yeah, it's terrible what happened to her. Now she's trying to get recorrective surgery. But what happened when she got pregnant and her butt just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger from whatever they put in it. So she just decided to take it out because I think she also said it was causing some pain, like weird pain. Because like even Cardi B went to a place in the Bronx and got it done illegally. She says it. She said she couldn't feel her butt at first, like, because to save the money, because she was a stripper and she noticed that people with the bigger booties were making more money. So she went and did it illegally, which a lot of people do. And you don't know what they're putting in there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So,
Body dysmorphia.
yeah. Yeah. So big butts are the thing now, to the point where some people have made it where you look at them and they're starting to look like cartoon characters. They don't look real at all. Like their butt looks like a shelf. Their boobs look like basketballs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what they're
Wow.
gonna do when natural comes back in, because that shit's
Like
hard to
Jessica
take out.
Rabbit,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Like that?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I know who Jessica Rabbit is. He showed the image in my head. I know. I
Yeah.
don't know the name of the movie, but I know that.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's equal blacks to whites women doing it. Because you would think that they say that black women usually have a bigger booty by nature, is what black women say, but black women are feeling the pressure to go do it too. Isn't that sad?
yeah, Griffin was like shaking his head. He goes, "No, this is everybody's issue.
Right.
Everybody wants to be the thing." And he goes, "You know what? Why don't you be your thing?"
Exactly. Be the best you can be. Yeah.
He goes, I'm serious. Saggy whatever or perky around whatever,
Right.
if you do your thing, people love you for it and they can't explain why. They'll say you're sexy inside and out. They want a piece of that. They'll pay you more money in whatever career path you're choosing, he says. But he goes, give it a whirl. Doesn't cost that much money. It definitely isn't going to give you stitches either.
Right. I know that men are visual, and I get that part, but I do think I agree with you, Griffin, in the part that in the at the end of the day, that big booty might get a guy's look at first, but he's going to go for energy at the end of the day, and whoever has the best energy is going to win. Because
He agrees.
I just feel that I know guys. I don't know why guys are motivated that way, but they are. And to some guys, they say they don't like it, but sometimes guys will say, I don't like girls that wear makeup. I don't like girls that do this stuff. But then they put the pressure on us by looking at that girl when they walk by. You're like, I thought you didn't like any of that.
But Griffin goes, that's an issue though. It goes, we're allowed to look. He goes, just because we're looking and staring doesn't mean we adore it. He goes, part of the time we're trying to figure out what the fuck
Yeah.
and why. And most of the time we're looking at him going, damn, she has so much makeup on. She'd be so much more attractive without all that makeup.
Right.
He goes, honestly, those are most of the thoughts running through our head.
Right. Right.
But then you're doing quick judge on how we're taking too long of a glance and thinking it's something else.
Right.
Because, let's have a fucking conversation about it, people.
Right, exactly. And it's a different day too. Like, we do need to talk about it, because when I was a kid and you got in the car with makeup on, my dad would make you get out and go wash your face before school. So either you had to go early in school and try to put some on, or you'd have to just not wear it because it wasn't allowed, and now it's dangerous for men because you've got 14-year-olds looking like 20-year-olds and so on and so forth, because of makeup and surgeries. And especially in rich areas, kids ask for boob jobs for their birthday at 16. And yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
They haven't even stopped growing.
Uh-huh. I've never understood boob jobs to begin with, because my mom told me that don't ever do anything to your boobs because your boobs are changing throughout your entire life, and they are, because when you have kids they change, when they have, you know what I mean, just
Mm-hmm.
everything. Yeah, you'll like them eventually, probably. Yeah, you'll be fine. And then if you don't, fix them in the end or whatever, but you don't need to change them that young, because they'll be changing a lot through childbirth and all kinds of stuff.
Griff says, how cool would it be if we could live like we didn't have a body? Because
Right.
granted, we have one, so we need to take care of it because
Yeah,
that's what anchors us into the earth.
absolutely.
Anchors is here for this experience. But what if we lived like we didn't have one?
God,
Like,
that'd be
what
so
other
cool.
choices would you make?
Right.
He
Yeah.
goes, what would you do?
Right.
Hmm.
Right. I mean, I'm sure everyone's gone through this. I can remember being so self-conscious before of my body to get up and just go use the bathroom in a public situation because there's a crowd and you just know everyone's going to turn around and look. You know
And
what I
look.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we've all had that thought cross our mind if we're honest with ourselves at one point or another. Like,
God, mine has always been, and it still is, like, how much on display is my chest?
right.
I mean, they're there. Whatever shirt I put on, they're still going to be there. But,
Right.
It's tiresome to always get comments about them or people staring at them. And
Right.
then doing TV work, making sure that they're tucked away. And like, I wish I could just have them and not have them be a thing.
Right. Or maybe you should just go the opposite way, and since sex sells, Jamie, just pull it down and show that cleavage. Like, quit fighting it. God gave it to you for a reason. Use it.
Yeah, but that's so crazy because then I know Griffin says, yeah.
I know I went to see about
Mhm.
having a reduction myself, and men say that's a dirty word, like Griff, and they're probably shaking their head, but because they laugh when you say that. But I just, he said it would be so many scars. You know how
Yeah.
girls like
Oh,
to
it's a
forget
lot.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it for a hot minute and then researched it online. I was like, whoa. But Griffin says you got to be comfortable in your skin.
Totally.
And he said, I need to get over, the size of them. And
Exactly.
he says, I get it. People look at it and then they look at you and they judge you right away and they're not listening to your words or what you're trying to say. They're
Right.
like, damn.
I know.
It didn't do it right.
Oh, I know.
Whatever.
I had a
But
neighbor. I had a neighbor. I'm cutting you off totally. I know.
do
But I
it.
had a
Yeah.
neighbor. No, because it's reiterating and validating what you're saying. I had a neighbor that lived beside us for years, Jackie Boozeron, remember Griffin? That one time we were taking a class together and I wore a V-neck and she said, "Oh my God, how many years have I lived beside you? And I never knew you had a chest like that." Because I hide too, like sweatshirt, layers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so we were actually taking this class and we had to do this thing, and they made me do something where you kind of dress sexy in front of everybody, and it was painful, so hard to do. I couldn't, I just, but it was a growth class, so it's called Landmark. It's a long story, but anyways, it's just looking into yourself and growing. And that was my issue, was like my shyness of that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
fucking painful. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of growth here, Griffin said. A lot of growth.
Right? For everybody. For
Mm-hmm.
everybody. And Jamie, can you hear what people are thinking?
I can see it. I can't really hear it. So if I'm talking to somebody and they're totally engaged in my conversation,
Uh
but they're all like a hot reddish pink color
huh.
with a tinge of orange, it's all sexual energy. And so I'm standing there and we're talking about mathematics or whatever.
Right.
It's just sex coming and laying on me. And I'm like, what the fuck? I haven't done anything. And my husband's like, but you're flirtatious and you're always happy. And I'm like, flirtatious and happy doesn't mean sex. Like, he goes, well, it does for men.
Yeah. Right. So true. So true.
I'm more aware of it,
Yeah.
but
Well, with me, when I look at you, it's like you look so feminine, like a lot of feminine energy. And I don't see color like you see color, but um, there's a softness about you. And I think people are attracted to that. You know what I
thanks.
mean? Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing, because it's just a softness, a prettiness, a glow. That's the happiness I
It's
see.
my happiness.
Yeah, it's a soft place to fall, kind of, or to sit or to talk to. Like, you look inviting to talk to. You don't look like you have a wall up, you know. No.
Griffin said it'd be so wonderful when kids are younger, all the way through elementary school. He's like, we've already talked about compassionate communication. He goes,
Right.
but what if there was like a body acceptance? What if we actually taught them how to be around bodies and not see them as something purposeful,
Right.
but the instrument of that person?
Right.
Kind of desexualize them. Not
Exactly.
saying that we need to be asexual and
No.
not have a drive or a passion, but
Right.
just go ahead and train them that nudity is okay and shape and size is okay.
Right.
It's what you do with it. That's where boundaries come in.
Right.
That's where we need to be more clear. That'd
Absolutely.
be interesting.
I agree too, because I bet you there's a million more people that don't like their body than do, Griff, and you guys can see it clearer than we can. But although
Oh,
I
he's like,
see it
you
pretty
can
evident.
pull a million people out. And he goes, I can probably give you a handful out of a million who absolutely love their body for what it is.
Right? Right? Totally.
Because
Okay.
you'd be so surprised the shape that they are.
I know. Sometimes you just want to smack somebody like Jamie Butler. Do you know that girl? Like she says, "Oh, my chest," and I'm so this, and you look at her and you're like, "You're beautiful. What more do you want? Oh my God, if I could punch you, I would." Yeah,
Oh, it's just this human experience.
it's so painful sometimes. It's hard being so beautiful as Jamie. Right, Griff?
Let me wipe your tears.
Yeah. Griffin says hard. These big sexy boobies. Oh,
That should be my next lecture. My big
right.
sexy boobies.
Being a looker is hard. Well, I do think like my weight, like weight has protected me a lot because some people can't handle all those looks. You think you want them until they come. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then
very,
you
very true.
and you're just like, I will put some protection around myself. Let me have these Reese's and this ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even know you're doing it consciously. But I'm sure that's a lot of people's weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Griffin agrees completely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How to be invisible.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.